The world is entering one of the most volatile periods in modern geopolitical history. As of March 3rd, 2026, multiple active conflicts are reshaping global security, energy markets, and regional alliances. This is your Global Strategic Situation Report. The most explosive development is the active high-intensity war between Iran and Israel. The conflict began on February 28, 2026, after coordinated U.S. and Israeli strikes targeted Iranian nuclear infrastructure, including facilities in Natanz, along with key leadership hubs. The operation marked a dramatic shift from shadow warfare to open confrontation. In response, Iran launched massive retaliatory drone and missile barges across the Persian Gulf region. Strikes have hit U.S. bases in Jordan, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, widening the scope beyond Israel alone. Inside Iran, the human toll is severe. Deaths have reportedly exceeded 780 following major strikes on Tehran, Isfahan, and Qom. The economic consequences are already global. The Strait of Hormuz, the most critical oil choke point in the world, is effectively disrupted. Energy markets are reacting violently. Oil prices are surging, and several vulnerable economies are beginning emergency fuel conservation measures. Myanmar has introduced fuel rationing policies, and other nations are quietly preparing contingency plans. Diplomatically, evacuation operations are underway. India and multiple Gulf states have launched emergency airlifts to extract stranded nationals from affected zones. Despite these efforts, no meaningful ceasefire framework has emerged. The war remains active and unpredictable. Meanwhile, the war between Russia and Ukraine has entered its fifth year. What began as a rapid invasion has transformed into a grinding war of attrition. Front lines remain largely static, but Ukraine reported a net territorial gain in February 2026. A major shift is Ukraine's use of domestically produced Flamingo cruise missiles. These long-range weapons are striking deep into Russian territory, hitting strategic military production facilities, such as Votkinsk, at ranges approaching 1,400 kilometers. This represents a new phase of deep strike warfare. Russia, in response, has shifted focus toward targeting Ukrainian logistics hubs and water infrastructure ahead of spring thaw. Both sides are locked in a resource-draining stalemate. If the current intensity continues, combined casualties are projected to approach 2 million by late spring. The Middle East escalation is also expanding into Lebanon and Gaza. Israel has authorized its military to advance into additional strategic positions in southern Lebanon to neutralize Hezbollah launch sites. This raises the risk of a full northern front opening. In Gaza, border crossings remain indefinitely closed following the escalation with Iran. Approximately 2 million civilians face a renewed humanitarian crisis, with food shortages worsening by the day. In Africa, South Sudan is sliding toward renewed civil war. The 2023 power-sharing agreement has effectively collapsed. A massacre in Abyei Imnim County left at least 169 people dead this week alone. More than 1,000 civilians are seeking refuge at United Nations bases as fears grow that full-scale conflict could reignite. In Southeast Asia, Myanmar remains an internal conflict. The military-backed party has claimed a landslide election victory, but international observers, including the UN and ASEAN, have refused to endorse the results due to widespread repression. Fuel shortages linked to Middle East disruptions have forced the junta to introduce odd-even vehicle restrictions in an attempt to conserve dwindling supplies. Taken together, these conflicts are no longer isolated regional crises. They are interconnected pressure points in a fragile global system. Energy choke points, missile proliferation, humanitarian collapse, and prolonged attritional warfare are defining the current era. The question is no longer whether the world is unstable. The real question is how many of these active wars can continue simultaneously before the system itself begins to fracture. This is the global battlefield as of March 3rd, 2026. If you want to stay ahead of global conflicts, hidden power struggles, and the geopolitics shaping our world, make sure to subscribe and follow, because the next major development could happen at any moment.